PSG's Wonderkid, Leipzig's shining star, and now Chelsea's top target. Is Xavi Simons really about to make the move that could redefine the Premier League? At just 22 years old, he's already being called the new Johan Cruyff by Dutch football legends who see something special in his technical ability and football intelligence. Chelsea fans see him as their next Eden Hazard, the creative spark that could transform Stamford Bridge into a destination for world-class talents once again. But can he live up to the hype? Can a young Dutch midfielder who spent most of his career in Germany really handle the intensity and physicality of English football? Stay tuned, because this could be the most exciting transfer of the year, and what happens next will determine whether Chelsea's youth-focused revolution becomes a masterpiece or an expensive mistake. We're not just talking about another promising player changing clubs. We're talking about a potential superstar who could define the next decade of European football, and Chelsea believe they've found him before anyone else realizes his true value. The Xavi Simons story begins not in Amsterdam or Paris, but in the complex world of modern football development, where the biggest clubs compete for the brightest talents before they even reach their teens. Born in Amsterdam to a Surinamese father and Dutch mother, Simons was always destined for football greatness, but his path has been anything but conventional. Barcelona spotted his potential first, bringing him into their famous La Masia Academy system, where he learned the fundamentals of possession football and technical excellence that would define his playing style. But like many young talents caught between giant clubs and personal ambition, Simons made the difficult decision to leave Barcelona for PSG at just 16 years old, seeking opportunities that the Catalan club couldn't guarantee. Paris Saint-Germain promised him a clearer pathway to first-team football, better financial terms, and the chance to develop alongside some of the world's best players. The move proved controversial among purists who believed La Masia was the perfect environment for his development, but Simons and his family prioritized playing time and professional growth over romantic ideals. His time in PSG's academy system was productive but frustrating, showing glimpses of brilliance in youth competitions while struggling to break into a star-studded first team that included established superstars and expensive signings. The loan move to RB Leipzig changed everything, giving Simons the platform to showcase his talents in one of Europe's most competitive leagues. Under Marco Rose's tactical system, he flourished as an attacking midfielder with the freedom to drift between positions and influence games through his creativity and intelligence. His performances for the Netherlands national team elevated his profile further, proving he could perform at the highest level against elite opposition. Suddenly, the young player who struggled for recognition at PSG became one of Europe's most wanted midfielders, attracting attention from clubs across the continent who recognized his unique combination of technical ability, tactical awareness, and leadership potential. Chelsea's interest in Xavi Simons represents more than just another transfer target. It symbolizes their commitment to building something sustainable and exciting for the future. Under Todd Boehly's ownership, Chelsea have made it clear that they're prioritizing young talents who can grow with the club and become cornerstones of their long-term project. Simons fits this profile perfectly, offering the kind of creative spark that Chelsea have lacked since Eden Hazard's departure to Real Madrid left a void that has never been properly filled. His playing style is remarkably similar to Hazard's in many ways: the ability to receive the ball in tight spaces, the vision to spot passes that others miss, and the technical skill to execute those passes under pressure. But Simons brings additional elements that make him even more intriguing as a prospect. His work rate is superior to Hazard's, his defensive contributions are more consistent, and his leadership qualities suggest he could become a captain-type figure at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea's scouts have been tracking his progress at Leipzig for over 18 months, analyzing not just his statistical output, but his decision-making, his body language, his interactions with teammates, and his ability to perform in crucial moments. What they've discovered is a player who combines Dutch technical excellence with German tactical discipline, creating a hybrid midfielder perfectly suited to the Premier League's demands. The comparisons to Hazard are flattering, but potentially limiting. Simons has the potential to become something even more valuable, a complete midfielder who can create chances, score goals, and control games from the center of the pitch. Chelsea see him as the missing piece in their tactical puzzle, the player who can connect their promising young forwards with their solid defensive foundation. More importantly, they see him as a statement signing that announces their intention to compete with Manchester City and Arsenal for Premier League supremacy. The transfer triangle between PSG, Leipzig, and Chelsea reveals the complex realities of modern football economics and the challenges facing even the biggest clubs in managing their most promising talents. PSG's decision to sell Simons permanently rather than recall him from loan represents an admission that their squad planning hasn't been perfect, but also a pragmatic recognition that his development might be better served elsewhere. The French champions have invested heavily in established stars and need to balance their books while making room for new signings, making Simons an unfortunate casualty of their short-term focus. Leipzig's role in this triangle is particularly interesting, as they've essentially served as a finishing school for a player they developed but cannot afford to purchase permanently. Their loan agreement with PSG included an option to buy, but the asking price of €70 million exceeds their budget and forces them to accept losing a player who became integral to their tactical system. This situation benefits Chelsea enormously, allowing them to sign a player who has already proven himself in the Bundesliga without having to take the same developmental risk that PSG originally accepted. The financial structure of the deal is complex but manageable for Chelsea, with the initial fee spread over several years and performance-related bonuses that ensure PSG are compensated if Simons fulfills his potential. Simons himself is reportedly eager to make the move, attracted by the prospect of Premier League football and the opportunity to work with talented young players like Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and Christopher Nkunku. His representatives have negotiated a package that reflects his status as one of Europe's most promising midfielders, with a salary progression that rewards him for meeting specific performance targets over the length of his contract. The timing works perfectly for all parties involved, with Chelsea getting their primary target, PSG receiving a substantial fee for a player they couldn't accommodate, and Simons getting the platform he needs to take the next step in his career development. But the Premier League represents a different kind of challenge than anything Simons has faced in his career so far, and the physical and mental demands of English football have broken many promising players who seemed destined for greatness. The pace and intensity of Premier League football is relentless, with games coming thick and fast and little time for players to settle into comfortable rhythms. Young creative players often struggle with the physicality and directness of English football, finding their techniques disrupted by aggressive pressing and robust tackling that is considered perfectly legal in England. Simons will need to adapt his game to cope with defenders who prioritize disruption over elegance, midfielders who pressure every touch, and a general approach that values effectiveness over aesthetics. His experience in the Bundesliga should help with this transition, as German football shares some similarities with English football in terms of pace and physicality. However, the Premier League operates at an even higher intensity level, with stronger opposition in every single game and media scrutiny that can overwhelm players who aren't mentally prepared for constant analysis and criticism. The psychological pressure of being labeled Holland's new star adds another layer of complexity to his adaptation process. Dutch football fans have waited years for a midfielder capable of carrying their national team's creative burden, and Simons has been anointed as the heir to players like Wesley Sneijder and Raphael van der Vaart. This expectation creates additional pressure that could affect his performance levels, particularly during difficult periods when results aren't going his way. Chelsea will need to manage this pressure carefully, providing him with the support and patience necessary to develop his game without the crushing weight of unrealistic expectations. The club's recent track record with young players suggests they understand these challenges and have systems in place to help promising talents navigate the complexities of Premier League football while maintaining their confidence and development trajectory. The bigger picture implications of Simons' potential move to Chelsea extend far beyond the immediate impact of one player joining one club. This transfer represents a crucial test of Chelsea's long-term strategy and their ability to identify and develop the next generation of world-class talents. Success with Simons would validate their approach and potentially attract other promising players who see Chelsea as an ideal destination for career development. It would also provide them with a genuine star player who could become the face of their franchise for the next decade, someone whose marketability and on-field brilliance could elevate the club's global profile. The Premier League itself benefits from acquiring another technically gifted player who can raise the overall quality of the competition and provide fans with the kind of entertaining football that makes the league so popular worldwide. Simons' style of play is perfectly suited to television audiences who appreciate skill, creativity, and intelligent decision-making, potentially increasing viewer engagement and commercial value. From a tactical perspective, his arrival could influence how other Premier League teams approach the game, forcing them to adapt their defensive strategies to cope with his unique skill set. Chelsea's European ambitions also factor into this calculation, as Champions League success requires players capable of performing against the very best opposition under maximum pressure. Simons has already shown he can handle big occasions with the Netherlands national team, but club football presents different challenges and expectations. If he can translate his international form to Chelsea's Champions League campaigns, he could become the catalyst for their return to European glory. The symbolic importance cannot be understated either. Signing one of Europe's most promising young players sends a message to rivals that Chelsea remain a destination for elite talent despite recent struggles and management changes. So here's the ultimate question that will define both Simons' career and Chelsea's future. Is Xavi Simons really the missing piece for Chelsea, or just another overhyped wonderkid who will struggle to live up to impossible expectations? The evidence suggests he has the technical ability, mental strength, and tactical intelligence to succeed at the highest level, but football history is littered with promising players who never fulfilled their potential despite having all the right attributes. Chelsea's track record with young talents is mixed, with some players flourishing under their development system, while others stagnated or regressed due to pressure and unrealistic expectations. The Premier League's unforgiving nature means there's little margin for error, and Simons will need to adapt quickly if he wants to justify his price tag and meet the expectations that come with being labeled the next big thing. What's your prediction? Will Xavi Simons become the creative genius that transforms Chelsea into title contenders? Or will he become another cautionary tale about the dangers of moving too early in a developing career? Can he handle the pressure of being compared to Eden Hazard and Johan Cruyff? Or will those comparisons become a burden that limits his development? The next few months will provide the answers to these questions, but right now, the excitement and anticipation surrounding his potential move suggests that football fans believe they're about to witness something special. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know whether you think Simons is worth the risk for Chelsea or if they should look elsewhere for their creative inspiration. If this analysis gave you new insights into one of the summer's most intriguing transfer possibilities, smash that like button and share your predictions about how this story will unfold. Subscribe to Football Codes for more exclusive transfer analysis that goes beyond the headlines, and hit the notification bell because the transfer window is heating up and we'll be here to decode every twist and turn until the final signature is complete.